Hello everyone, welcome to Novel Creative Tutorials, and today I will show you how to create a dynamic particle pulse title audio visualizer in Adobe After Effects using Stardust. So create your composition, let's get started. So after create composition, and as you see here in my comp, I have few layers here, a text, Stardust layer, background, and a comp with the audio to work with. So on Stardust, let's jump to emitter and then choose text and mask, and let's assign our text and then just turn visibility for it on here. And so we have these set to volume, we want down edge weighted, and then we want to emit once. So we have that basically around the text, but we need more life here, so let's go for around 100, and for now let's just set that size to 1. Basically because we have speed, let's zero out that, and now we have text into place with the particles. So we want to zero out the size Z as well. So now it looks just like outline, and basically that's what we want for now. So what I'm going to do here is just add these replica node and connect that. So here I want some replicates. You can go over 100, for now just 50 here, and then just offset by 2 on the Z. Well, this is what you get here. And so the idea now is just drop here turbulence node and add some very nice turbulence effect to these tags. So right here I'm going to leave that normal, and we want position, so probably 66 here, and you can see what's happening there. So I'm just going for 75 on noise scale and probably 30 on frequency and level to 5. You can play with the noise scales as you would like. So you can see here we have these set to affecting infinite. I want to just use sphere here, and the sphere is around 600. So now you can see how this looks. Let's get some really nice color here instead of white, so something bluish here, something like that. And then I want to set these to add so it's nicely blending here. And so now what I want to do here is just add some nice variation to the size. Path properties, we have size here, and I will choose this wiggly preset here, and you can see here we got some really nice variation. You don't have to go all the way to 0 values if you don't want to zero out these particles, so probably that's look just fine. There's few variation there, and these look pretty cool. So now the idea here is to animate these turbulence origin here. So animating these driven by the audio is going to create for us some really nice visualizer there. So what I'm going to do here, just convert audio to keyframe from key assistant, and so now we have these keyframes. So I'm just going to keep both channels, and so now I want to link these basically to using these origin here. So just keep the origin here for these turbulence, and then just click that. And what I want here is just to use these both channels here. And so basically, well, you can see what happened here. The actual point for the origin just jumped to near 00 here, because once we link these to both channels, that's what happens. So we need to remap values here. So I'm going to create X and Y variables here. So basically X is the actual value here, and Y is the Y value for the origins here. Semicolons for both, and then what I want to do here, just this is going to be the B for both channels, and I want these to be X. On the X basically I want to be both channels, and the Y basically just the Y value here. So what I want to do here, just X plus the B values here. So the B is going to driven these values here. So you can see now we have these actually the X animating here. So now we can actually here just move these here, and you can see the point here. And if we just move the time indicator, you can see now it's actually moving, but the increments are pretty slow. So you can basically just multiply these by 100. So now you can see this is going to be really high values there. So probably just move these because we are having X, which is the actual value of the origins plus the values from the audio. So it's going to generate these new positions driven by the audio here. So basically here, now let's just preview part of these to get a clear idea about this. So as you can see here, the animation looked pretty cool, and we were previewing these in a half rate. So you can see here we have some really nice audio reaction, but you can see here it's basically playing just around this side here, and we want that basically the X value to be changing on our whole comp here. So that's what we're going to do here, just to have more control. So we are going to use F statement here, and we're going to see some condition for each range to have a new different values to even make it more interesting. So if B is greater than 0 and B is less than 10. Okay, so now the new values is going to be the B. We need to remap the values here. I'm going to use ease. You can use linear expression, and we want now to remap the values. So these same values on our condition going to be on the ease here, and we want the new values to be between 0 and 500. This is just for now. And so now, well, let's close the curly bracket here and using else F and having a new condition here. So if B greater than 10 and B is less than, let's say, 20, the maximum value of our audio. So you can basically check it first. So for example, again, just go to right into your audio here and then check where you want that values to be. For example, we have here, this is 22 and so on. So depending on your audio, values are going to be different. So you can choose which range you want to see in your F statements. I'm just going to use 2 of them here, and so basically here we want these to have a new B here. So using ease as well, and right now we want between 10 and 20, so it's going between 600 and around 200. So just depends on your comp size and so on. Well, you can see there it just jammed far away here. Let's make sure we're selecting that so we can see what's going on. But first we need to get rid of these 100 here. We don't really need that. So you can see now the range. If we see these to 0 here, so we can always add a value here, but you can always see here now let's go for something more obvious here. So here 7, and you can see the value here is going to be between 0 and 500. So now we have these anchor, but here is just on the side, say where somewhere is more higher around. Let's crank up basically this maybe 24, because basically music is over 20 there. So let's make sure we are on a value where, yeah, let's see right there. You can see now jump over here. So we can basically tweak add value here if we need to that. So conditions always yours, probably minus 100 and so on. And so now we're going to have more of these pretty cool animation here. So let's preview one more time. So as you can see here, the audio reaction is so much better than how it was. Now we can see the animation actually start from left to right, covering the whole area here in the comp. Thanks to F statements, you can actually break down more ranges to have more control over your audio and where you want these beats exactly to be located. So now I'm just going to add film node here. And then I'm going to switch here, this one to twist, and then I want to crank up these to 100. Basically, it's just going to affect everything, but I want to use here sphere instead. And you can see here we got a really nice twist here. You can switch on different axes depending on how you will the look. So I'm just going to stick here to the Z. You can actually change the size for the sphere, of course, and add more twist to that. But I'm going to keep this as it is. So I want to actually link this origin of this field to actually here this one expression we create on turbulence origin. And so now you can see here I already linked, but we need to control that because it's located here, just disappeared. So I'm just going to add the value to the link here and just zero out X and Y, so they are now exactly on same location. But I want just to move these here, so there's some really nice twist just at the end of these turbulence there. So it's just like to effect near each other on these audio reactions. So the idea here, so now just always ahead of that, so the twist always ahead of it. So I'm just going to get these as it is. So probably you can randomize as well if you want. It's just going to add some randomizing to these, but I'm just going to give that probably 100. You see here we got this really nice particle look. So it's up to you how you want to stylize this. And so let's preview one more time and see how this looks like. So as you can see here, just by adding a field node, it adds a really nice touch to the audio visualizer with these effects. So we're just going to add a little bit more to just give it more nice fluid dynamic look here. So what I'm going to do first here, let's just organize these and let's rename these turbulence audio reaction 1, copy the name, and I'm just going to add a new turbulence node here. So the second one is just going to call it audio reaction 2, and let's just disable these and keep turbulence audio reaction 2 on. So we want to have a different effects here. So the idea here, we want to animate the position offset this time, but let's first have some offset to these and probably just scale the noise as well. Well, you can get different look on these depending on how you want to achieve these. And so I'm just going to add turbulence randomizer here and just randomizing these. Probably that's too much. I just want to match the look, but probably here let's see how it looks on 300 and then just play here with noise scale and also here noise amplitude and frequency as well, probably less. And so what I want here is just overlive to have the effect right there. So I'm just going to make these Bezier so we can have a control over these. So basically we want these to kick every range we choose, also using the expression here. So what I'm going to do here, basically just copy the expression. I'm just going to copy the F statement here, and on position, basically we are going to use that. We need to do view adjustments. We don't need X, just the B, and here we have these actual F statements. So we just want here, let's say between 10 and 12. Make sure you're writing these correct. 12, and the new values for position offset just going to be around 150 and 200. We just want settle position offset on that. And for this one, 20 and 24 when these kick in as well. So probably 300 and 200 on position offset. So the idea now, this is going to just be on outside the range, just going to be very low, but what we want here is just add else, and we want B to be 0. So if it is outside of these ranges, it's going to be 0. We don't want any of these turbulence. So here, let's look where these kick in, these range values. There's one here, for example. So you can see, depending on our audio here, so you can see here it's below 10. So there's no effects on that. So once it just kick in, for example here, it's just going to be, this is going to kick in. So let's just preview this. So as you can see, you can break down your audio to where you want exactly everything to happen, and they already choose between 8 and 12 instead of 10 and 12, just depend on music, so you can have more of that visual happening on your particles. So and now what I want to do actually here, just to show you quickly, you don't have to keep everything on normal. You can choose, for example, here on different turbulence type. For example, this on, just choose the right place where that exactly happening. Let's see here. Values always help us to decide where we have that. Basically, right here. So now we can just choose different axes, if you will, for that to happen. You can just go, for example, just happening on the axis 1, which is very nice. When we combine everything here, it's just going to look like something different happen on that specific frames when that range or that beats happen. So you can see how it looks now. Pretty cool. It's going to be more visual when we start stylizing this. And just a last touch I want to add here. So right here, for example, when this one is at 0, I want these actually to look like more there's turbulence to it. So I'm just going to add another turbulence, and this turbulence just going to reading that, probably just fading, just to get some really nice fading to these particles here. Just going to keep that subtle, going 4, 5 on position offset. You can see already what happens there. Just give us a really nice touch to these particles right there. And probably here, just going to keep everything as it is and just add some evolution here. Well, speed, and also here using the audio for that. So what I mean by this, just add expression to this, and basically I want to link these to the audio, so both channels, and just multiply these probably 0.5 there, and that's it. So just going to have some nice animation here. Just going to disable that so you can see how this looks. You can see there is some really nice animation. I'm not sure if you can see what's going on, but there is a little bit. Probably get more fractal speed so you can see there's actual animation on these ones here. That's pretty cool. So we can do the same for these one as well. We can keep building up things. For example, also change these particles or noise scale for the turbulence depends on your audio. Just the same idea here with the expression, linking things and choosing the right values to remap so it looks nice. So now let's just turn on all of these and let's just start stylizing this. So now I'm going to duplicate these particle and emitter node here and just create a variation for this, and just let's disable the first one here. And so now on emitter I'm just going to have variation on path properties here, trimming these just so we can create something like that and get some size Z to get some really particles appears here. And just now link these starting from turbulence audio reaction 1, so now it's going to be reacting to audio as well, and just have some nice variation on this, starting from particle size, so probably here 50 on size, and also change that to 2 and enter on opacity here, and probably just choose nice color here so we have different variation. And so now enable both. You're not going to see anything yet because we still have to stylize this one more, but before we do that, let's just add some particles around here. Just duplicate these two again here, and this is going to be the particles flying around here. And so for these ones, just making these a box here and just crank up these 1000 here, and going for sequence in particles. I want that just 25 life and randomness as well. Probably changing these sizes here so we can have that, and probably life or birth chance around 20 or 80. Just depends how we would like that to look. And random from gradient. I'm going to choose this one probably here, and we got this nice gradient here. So now we are going to add a new camera here, probably 50, and we need to enable now depth of field, because now things will start to look different here once we add a glow as well. So a new adjustment layer and rename that glow. So let's add a deep glow. You can use After Effects glow, but I find deep glow is so much quicker and also give you the result right away. So switch these blending mode to add, and so now you can see this is too bright and we need adjustments for that. First thing, we need to go to the particles, first one we created, and we need to make this really small, so probably around 0.05. So now we can see that details on this and seeing the second one here. This is pretty cool as a startup. Well, probably we switch to loop from gradient. Just I want to have different color here. Probably go for this one and hit apply. And so you can see here a nice blending between the two. And so what I'm going to do here, another adjustment layer, and let's rename these blend, and let's just put this below glow here and add CC composite, and we want to see these to soft light, so just going to blend things nicely here. That's look pretty cool. One more thing I want to do here, just on particles node here for the first one, I don't want these to be real below, so probably just right there so it's not too dark in these areas here. So that looks pretty cool. And add another adjustment layer, and let's rename these look. And so I'm going to do here, just add in sharp mask, noise, and volumetric color. So probably noise 3 and creative on volumetric color, and going for these probably a blue moon here, and that's going to give us a really nice color grading there. That's pretty cool. So on particles here, we need to make these less particles, so probably 50 on these. And also one more thing we want to add to these particles to be moving is adding a wind to them, so they are not just staying there and just moving on the Z by minus 100 toward the camera, so they are animating as well, just to add some really nice environment look for these particles. Probably they are too big, going for just one. And so now on replica here, I'm just going to crank up these to 100. So now we're going to see more of these depth a little bit, which is going to make these look pretty nice. Now we see these nice variation here. And it's very important here on camera here, basically this is changing how everything looks when changing the aperture and the focus distance, so the particles appears depends on that focus range, so that's make huge difference here, as you can see. Well, so probably the sweet spot is 25 for this. That's look pretty cool. Another thing here, we can go back to the emitter here and probably offset the path if you want. So let's preview and see how this looks like. So as you can see guys, this looks pretty cool. The same idea, you can just apply the same expressions to different properties to drive different looks on the particles. So that's it guys, hope this tutorial was very useful for you as always, and if you have any questions just comment and I will do my best to be responsive. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials coming soon, and thank you for watching.